Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Munich and ESOC 2023. We are looking forward to some great days here, aren't we, Robin?
Definitely, I hope so. We'll have our first full on-site meeting again. So we're looking forward to having a lot of participants active here, meeting each other, meeting colleagues, creating interactions and probably also, of course, interacting regarding science, talking about science, presenting science, but also hopefully creating new opportunities for young researchers and to establish connections. So very much looking forward to everything here.
Yes, so far the weather has been quite good as well, so hopefully we can enjoy a bit of sun outside. But we will start now with a video from Munich. That was a very nice video on Munich. And yesterday you had a lot of activities here in Munich, didn't you, regarding stroke awareness, Arthur?
Yeah, so we started the conference a bit early already, before it started here on the Messe Center. We had a public awareness day yesterday, which I was very happy that we could arrange this across actually the two universities in Munich, the Technical University and the LMU, and also with participants from rehab centers, and the German Stroke Society was also part of it, and actually a lot of visitors actually on a very central square in Munich, the Odeonsplatz. And as you mentioned, yeah, we were very lucky that also the weather was on our side.
So I noticed on Twitter, I think that there was this image of a bus. So people passing by could go on the bus, or what was the bus for?
So this is the Red London bus, which we used for that, which obviously is something easily to spot and also attracted, I think, many people just out of curiosity to that place. And in the bus we performed risk assessment scores and blood pressure measurements, and just also general basically counseling of patients that either were already stroke patients or were next of kin of stroke patients, or have faced it in the family. And we were also surprised how many questions there came from different areas. Of people that were just insecure about the whole procedure, what happens if I do have a stroke. So I hope that we could provide there some information and take away some of the insecurity on how stroke service works.
So you got good feedback also from the participants then? I mean, going into the bus and thereafter?
Yeah, I think so. Not too many came out scared. Most of them were actually happy about the information that we could provide, and they were looking forward for this activity probably also to succeed in further ESOC meetings.
I think you, as the local organizing chair, you did a great job, because this is a first for ESO to organize a public awareness campaign together with the conference, and I think it's a great idea for also future conferences.
Yeah, thanks, Elsa. Yeah, it was a first, and we were also excited how to organize it. So the format was not very clear, but the mission that we had behind it was that here we have now over 4,000 stroke experts in Munich from more than 100 countries. And we were a bit concerned that Munich as a city doesn't really take notice of this really special event here that we have. So we wanted to bring it actually into the city and also raise more awareness in the general public.
But I think you did also a great job because I got the pictures and messages yesterday of flags around the city with the ESOC banner, and I think that is also a nice welcome to the city. If you're not at the conference the whole time, although our program is fantastic, what would you recommend that we should see in Munich while we're here?
Yeah. So I personally, I guess I will be here all the time, but I hope that also the other participants will have some time and maybe stay over the weekend. And although I like actually the Munich cliches, right? So I think it's nothing wrong about visiting a beer garden. And I think we will also do this tonight. I hope so very much, and try a local Munich beer. But I mean, Munich is really a very rich cultural city, and I very much recommend, for example, to visit the Munich Palace, so-called residence, and take a tour there, which is really exciting. Munich has some really world-renowned museums also, called the Pinakotheken, 3 of them. And this central square, there are many museums and landmarks really to visit. So I think it's very worthwhile to take the subway to the city center and do some strolling around. And
there's a very nice park quite close to the conference center where you can go for a run or a walk. And I was told yesterday you can even go for a swim in the lake. So.
Well, looking at the temperatures out there, I would like to see some pictures of that.
But else is from Norway.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's why you're associated with that. Yeah.
So we have talked a bit about what you can do in Munich, but I think we now need to get into the program. And Stéphanie, you've chaired the program committee, and can you tell us a bit about what are your highlights and what are you really looking forward to with the program of the conference?
Thanks so much, Elsa. I have co-chaired the meeting with Robin, who is actually the chair. But yes, we can look forward to a really exciting conference. We have a wonderful lineup of scientific presentation, really high-level scientific presentation to be expected from very diverse fields, ranging from acute stroke care to neurorehabilitation, through prevention, genomics and biomarkers, imaging, a very, very large variety of topics. There's an amazing lineup of trials, I think a record lineup for this particular conference, so stay tuned. Really exciting news to expect on some parts of stroke that have been more difficult to show therapeutic developments in recent years, in particular ICH, cerebral small vessel disease, some really great things to look forward to. And there are also some very special features in this conference with the hands-on sessions, which are a new feature in the conference, and on topics like neurosonology, acute stroke care, thrombectomy, and of course the teaching courses, really a highlight of this conference every year. So I very much look forward to the sessions myself, and I hope everyone too.
And Robin, what about you? You've both of you have spent a lot of time planning this meeting, but what are the highlights if you are to pick out some of the things you are really looking forward to with the scientific program?
Well, I'm really looking forward for the debate, and we've selected some nice topics which you can find in the program, where we have experts in the field taking positions, yes or no, for a particular statement. So I'm very much looking forward to that debate. I think that's it's an interactive way of looking at science. I think it will be joyful, likely, I think. And it's nice, I think, also for participants to see how there are still a lot of dilemmas where there's not really a clear answer, yes or no. So I'm very much looking forward to the debates. I'm also, I think also what Stéphanie mentioned, we have a very diverse program, but also that relates to the topics that are discussed in a particular scientific session. So what we decided to do is not make like a whole basic science session, but what we try to do is to weave that into a particular session to cover everything, well, not everything, which is impossible with 5 talks, but what we try to do is to have sort of a basic science start for a particular topic, then moving into more clinical and then even sometimes to trials. So to make sure that if you are interested in a particular topic, we try to give you an overview of the whole process leading towards, for instance, a particular therapy, instead of having basic science sessions where then potentially clinicians are not so interested in, although it's very important to have some knowledge of the basic science, which is behind everything we do nowadays. So that's what we try to do, and I hope that worked out, and I hope it's appreciated by the participants. I agree. I'm also looking forward to the hands-on workshops. That's something which we could not do previous years. As you know, we had virtual meetings, and then we had this hybrid last year, where half of the participants were following online, which was great as an option because at least we still had the outreach of 4,000 participants last year. But for hands-on workshops, of course, this is very difficult to do virtually. And so we have 3 days of hands-on workshops focusing on scenarios, on ER and thrombolysis. We have a 1 day workshops on thrombectomy. And then we have one workshop on the Friday morning on neurosonology. So I think that's really nice to have these hands-on workshops. I don't think people can still register because I think they're all fully booked. But I think if this is a success, and we of course hope to get your feedback on this, but if it's a success, we will definitely do that again for the next years, because I think these are nice opportunities to work with experts in the field and get some insights how to potentially improve your care pathways related to thrombolysis, thrombectomy, or any other issues. So I like the workshops, and if I may continue, I also like the poster sessions. We have, as you notice, if you come in now, you immediately see the boards again. And so people are now putting their posters on. So this morning it was a little empty, but I think within an hour we have a full set of posters there. And so I think that's a great opportunity for any researchers, potentially, particularly I think young researchers, to have their work presented. They can present themselves, people can walk by and ask questions about the poster. That was a very important part of conferences before the pandemic. And then we went to e-posters also for other reasons, I think, because of printing issues. But the interaction that you can have with someone presenting a paper poster is something completely different than looking at an e-poster on your computer, maybe at home, which is nice to look at after the conference. But I think it's important to have the interaction, and we could already notice that last year, I think with the moderated poster sessions where you had a lot of young PhD students presenting their work on a moderated poster, and that you immediately had that feeling again how nice it was to present posters. So I'm very happy that we have decided to have them printed out again, and I think the location is also very ideal. There's this very big entrance and you walk in and you see all these posters, which makes it also like a social event to have these posters viewed and presented.
And it's also quite nice if you want some quiet time to walk by the posters and just look at the posters. Exactly. And it's a different feel than the e-posters. So but this is of course debated almost every year, I think, in the planning group. So you're talking about the posters. How many abstracts did we have submitted to the conference?
Yeah, we had over 1,800 abstracts submitted, which was probably it's a record. We know it's much more than previous years. So the Scientific Abstract Committee had a very difficult job. I think, first of all, based on the reviewers' ratings, to then decide which ones would go to scientific communications, plenary sessions, but the plenary sessions, as Stéphanie mentioned, were already very packed with clinical trials, which is amazing. I think we have so much clinical trials being presented in these days. But then deciding on scientific communications, then deciding on posters, but so many abstracts, which were a lot of them were very high quality, that we even had to still decide on e-posters to make sure that the work that we appreciated or was appreciated by the reviewers could at least also be presented then on the e-posters. So amazing amount of abstracts sent in by all of you, and so that's what drives the conference. So as a program committee, we of course try to design the scientific sessions, teaching sessions, and the hands-on workshops that we talked about. But then the science also comes from people we need the science being submitted in abstracts to fill these scientific communications. And I think the Scientific Abstract Committee, which was chaired by Carlos Molina, did an amazing job. And if you now look into the program, to the scientific communications, you can even identify trials there, which apparently did not even make it to the plenaries, which is unbelievable, I think. But that is really an illustration of the great science that has been submitted. And so I think we should be very thankful for people submitting their work to ESOC, because that is what driving this conference.
And also what creates the fantastic vibe that we have at the conference where science meets socializing and networking, and we're all here for the same reason.
Exactly.
And the meeting for the common science to improve stroke care. So how many participants do we have registered as of this morning?
So it's I just got the recent numbers. It's over 4,100. But this is just before. I mean, the desks were just opening. So it looks like we will have this at least the same amount of participants as last year. But as mentioned, half of them were following online. So I think that will create a completely different atmosphere this year. Also, I think with the venue, which makes it fair, everything is pretty close by. So you have the rooms and then the posters and then the industry hall. I mean, everything is really closely connected. You don't have to walk very far. So it's very easy to interact with your colleagues, meet new friends. And so I think that's very important also for a conference. And that's one of the main reasons I think we decided to have this really as an on-site event. I mean, the reason why we are here is, of course, to listen to science and to potentially present science, but also to meet friends and to have these interactions with colleagues and also maybe create new collaborations. And that's what we do at a conference. And so, and having that amount of participants will probably enable that social interaction that is needed.
Absolutely, and I think I also want to highlight some sessions. We have a talk on sustainability in the plenary session, opening the plenary session tomorrow, and we also have a joint session with WHO, which is one of the first that it will really trying to put stroke on the agenda globally and with the WHO. So those are two very important sessions here. And I also think we need to say we have over 100 participants from Ukraine.
Yes.
Which we are extremely happy about, and
we can notice by the flag you're wearing.
Yeah. And it's great to be able to support our Ukrainian colleagues where they are working now in a very difficult situation. So great to have them on board and on site.
Yes.
So I think we are getting to the end. I think we have a lot of nervous people coming to the conference this morning, and perhaps not just to give their first presentation, but especially those giving their first oral presentation. Arthur, what would be your advice to the people who are now have a bit sweaty palms and a bit nervous about their presentation?
I think that's a great attitude to actually approach this conference, and I fully agree and embrace everything that also Robin said on I think the emphasis that ESOC this year put on interaction and communication. I think this is really the spirit of such a big conference in a field, and it's really the chance now, particularly for young stroke researchers, to get out there and interact with the senior colleagues, maybe with the people that they looked up to, not only from papers, and don't be shy, just approach them and chat with them over a coffee. Or maybe a beer in the evening. I think everyone is very friendly here and just looking forward to exactly those interactions.
Yeah.
And Stéphanie, what would you?
ESOC is definitely the best forum to learn for young investigators, and so they're warmly welcomed, and we look very much forward to the interactions. So don't be nervous, you'll meet a lot of passionate people who will help you move forward in your career development. So it's a wonderful opportunity, and do seize it.
Absolutely. I think that is the thing. You are among friends here. Absolutely. Even if you're challenged with questions, you are among friends, and it's a learning experience. So, Robin.
Well, the final word would be just to go out there and so look into the program. It's likely going to be difficult to go to everything that you would like to see. As you know, we have 8, 9 or 10 parallel sessions, so you have to make choices which are going to be difficult at sometimes. Of course, we have the plenary as the only item when we have the plenaries, but so maybe go into a particular session and follow the whole topic, or look into the program and identify the nice slots that you would like to look at. And just enjoy the conference, I say, not only here for the science, but as Arthur mentioned, also go out there.
Absolutely, and I think on that we will end. I'm Elsa Sandset, and I hope to see you in the venue, and have a great day and a great conference.
Yes, enjoy the conference all.
And thank you for attending.